This series is now officially the longest on my channel. I partially did aim to make it this way, so thanks for sticking through it. Obviously this is very Dragon Ball Heroes inspired, especially right now. I also wanted to change things up and make it a little bit more unpredictable. I almost ended it a few parts ago actually, but decided to get a little bit more absurd and fun. Who knows, I might do more crazy scenarios like this once in a while depending on the response. This won't be the norm though. But if you do want to see more like this, be sure to drop a like on this video. Because again, it pretty much depends on the response here. Anyways, let's continue into this finale of What If Goku Was Evil. Turles looks at Kakarot and that alternate version of Cooler. His theory is that they became so powerful that they were breaking through dimensions. This isn't their universe, that's not the Cooler that they know. And Kakarot can actually kind of tell this. That ki doesn't feel like Cooler, and Cooler says the same thing. That ki doesn't feel like Goku's. Kakarot has no clue of who Goku is, and he has no clue of how Cooler's alive when they just killed him. This kind of bums Cooler out. They killed him in another universe? And here he was thinking they were all friends in every universe. How's Goku gonna do him like that? Well, he chalks it up to this being some multiversal thing, but it's much more than that. They're not just in a different universe, they're in a different dimension, a different continuity where events happen completely differently. And it's not just these two either. Cooler prepares to fight alongside Kakarot, an odd combo. This may not be Goku, but in his eyes, it's close enough. Let's go over to Raditz now. Or actually, the two Raditzes. Raditz is in a pretty weird continuity. Well, at least in his eyes. Here, Kakarot apparently hit his head as a kid, growing up on Earth and turning into some guy named Goku. Raditz eventually tried to retrieve him, and nearly died in a fight against his brother, but now lives here and is pretty close with Goku. To distinguish the two, our Raditz will simply be called Raditz, and the other one will be called Survivor Raditz, because that's the series he's from. From what Survivor Raditz understands, they were apparently fighting and broke through dimensions. They didn't even realize that was possible. And Goku has an idea. What if they're able to create a collision strong enough to have that happen again? It could propel Raditz through dimensions once more. The thing is, they were fighting out in space, not worried about destroying anything around them, which is why they accidentally broke stuff. Survivor Raditz and Goku never encountered this because most of their fights took place on planets that they weren't trying to blow up. So they had to exercise a lot of ki control for that. Well, Raditz tells him he gets the concept of that, but still. That's going to be an issue because if they need a collision strong enough to break dimensions again, won't that blow up this planet too? Not to mention, that other Raditz is going to have to be pretty strong, isn't he? Survivor Raditz laughs at this. He tells his alternate self, go on, show him what power he has. And Raditz goes into his infernal god form. That is absurd. They didn't realize a form like that existed. Raditz tries to explain it. It's a godly version of a form attained from the fruit of the tree of might grown on a star. Survivor, Raditz, and Goku have no idea of what that means. But it does sound pretty cool, so Survivor Raditz decides to show off his own power. So if this Raditz knows about godly ki and stuff, he must know Beerus, right? Well, of course, that's how he got this power. Survivor Raditz says he went down a very different path with Beerus, coded by purple flames, showcasing Ultra Ego. He says Goku has his own unique form too, but Ultra Ego should be more than enough to help you, and Raditz is amazed to see himself so strong in this other continuity. Well, that's expected from himself. And the two are ready to clash. It could be pretty fun. Meanwhile, Granolah is facing a pretty similar predicament. He ended up on this planet, Earth, a place that he's heard about from Kakarot and Raditz. Apparently both he and Kakarot were sent here as a kid, because Kakarot's father of all people sent them here? This is all news to him. Monado never mentioned Bardock still, even after seeing Kakarot, and our Granolah has no idea of how the other Granolah ended up here, which we'll just refer to as Earth Granolah because that's also the scenario he's from. They eventually come to the same conclusion as the two Raditzes. Try and recreate that clash. Expel enough energy to break dimensions and send Granolah back to where he came from. That, or use the Dragon Balls. But they have no clue if they'll be powerful enough for that. But Granolah has a weird issue. He feels like he doesn't have enough power to actually accomplish that. He's been lagging behind the others, and he wasn't the one to cause that dimensional break in the first place. And Earth Granolah is surprised to hear this. Well, he should be pretty strong at least. I mean, he's training with godly ki and all. And surely by this point he has Super Cerulean. Super Cerulean? What? Earth Granolah shows off this form. Our Granolah had no idea he could even transform. This comes as a shock to Earth Granolah and Goku. And Goku steps in. Don't the other Saiyans have Super Saiyan at least? Well, yeah, they do apparently, but they don't really use that form anymore. So that's strange. Granolah never got a form for himself. And surely he doesn't have Ultra Instinct either. And that goes completely over his head. He doesn't know what that is either. So both Goku and Earth Granolah show that off. And Granolah looks on dumbfounded. He has multiple transformations, and it's something that, like, Whis has? He's completely lost, physically and mentally here. Earth Granolah says his alternate self could obtain this power if he could after all. Obviously it's not going to happen quickly though. But maybe Granolah and Goku can just clash together, and that'll be enough to send Granolah back to where he belongs. Yeah, that could work, but Granolah's kind of annoyed at his weakness. Seeing how strong he's grown in other timelines, and how strong everyone else is around him. Hell, even in this timeline, Kakarot's still strong, even though he went to Earth and like hit his head and forgot who he was and whatever. And apparently he and Kakarot are brothers in this universe too. Strange, but makes sense because they grew up together here apparently. But more so, Granolah's focused on the fact that he feels weak now. Goku and Earth Granolah begin their battle, and in another dimension, Ultra Ego Survivor Raditz faces Infernal God Raditz. Those two are at least having fun. Now let's go back to Kakarot. He and Cooler begin fighting together, and it's weird getting used to fighting alongside Cooler. His fighting style is so different, not to mention, he has some like robot thing installed in him. The Big Getty Star he calls it. Holy crap, wait, that's the thing that they just blew up. Cooler says it sounds like he was a pretty bad guy in that other universe. And Kakarot says yeah, he was. I mean, he absorbed an entire solar system and tried to kill them with it. And you know what? Cooler respects that. That sounds pretty awesome. Although he assures Kakarot he's not going to do that here. And that's the weirdest part to Kakarot. The fact that Cooler's good here. The guy that died twice against him. The guy that literally came back from the dead just to try to kill them. Albeit unintentionally. And Cooler says he faced an evil version of his future self before. So this Cooler's actually the anomaly, the good one. All Coolers are supposed to be evil apparently. But this one vows to help Kakarot, no matter who he is, whether he's Goku, Kakarot, anything. That's one of his greatest rivals and allies, one of his closest friends, even if he's not from this timeline. And more importantly, they're facing some evil Saiyan. They need to eliminate this threat regardless. Turles is restrained by the powers of the Big Yeti Star, with Cooler controlling all stuff around him, grabbing nearby asteroids and liquefying them, using it to hold Turles and preventing him from attacking. But Turles is able to break free, and he comments on this. So from what he's hearing, Kakarot's pretty pathetic in this universe. He's some good guy living on Earth, friends with Cooler of all people. And Cooler doesn't take too kindly to this. An insult against him and one of his friends. As this battle continues, they suddenly feel a rumble, which is weird because they're out in the vacuum of space. There's a massive explosion nearby. Someone broke reality again, and Kakarot can't believe it. It's Raditz. Raditz jumps through the portal, and behind it, Kakarot sees that there's another Raditz with purple hair. And then Kakarot's also there too, wearing like an orange outfit or whatever. Survivor Raditz and Goku look through the portal too. So that's how Goku turns out if he doesn't hit his head? Wow. Weird. Survivor Raditz lights up a cigar and gives himself a thumbs up. Defeat that Turles bastard, whoever the hell he is. The portal then closes, and Raditz thanks himself. So Raditz found Kakarot, which is good, but Cooler's here for some reason. And Kakarot promises he's a good guy here, apparently. But now they need to find Granolah. Where'd he go? And Cooler says there's no time to question that. Just fight this guy. And Turles actually agrees too. Obviously because he doesn't care who lives and dies. And now Turles is really losing ground. Not only is he fighting Kakarot, but he's fighting against Cooler and Raditz too. And this version of Cooler is really strong too. Turles has no frame of reference for the other Cooler, but his mind is blown. His Majin powers aren't able to keep up with this. And then he realizes something strange too. His Majin powers give him regenerative abilities, but he doesn't have a complete grasp on them. It's like when he tried to absorb Broly before, it was tough to get control of. He's able to regenerate from minor injuries, but it actually takes a little bit of time to do so, and a good amount of stamina too. Had this battle happened a little later, maybe he would have had a full grasp on it. But he's not going to give up, obviously. But once more, they feel that same rumbling. Another crack nearby. Kakarot and Raditz are elated. That must be Granolah. They see a blur of light fly through the portal. And behind it, they see Kakarot wearing that same orange outfit again, with Granolah wearing a different outfit too. Both of whom have white hair now. That alternate version of Kakarot and Granolah have a confused look on their face. But that Earth version of Granolah smiles, and then the portal closes. Kakarot and Raditz look around, and eventually they do see him. Granolah's there, but he looks different from before. Both of his eyes are red like normal, and he's surrounded by an intense godly aura. But notably, his hair's a different color. It's an orangish color. With help from his alternate self, and tapping into his anger, he was able to summon some of his latent power, finally awakening a new form that'll help him in this battle. He's still not on Kakarot and Raditz's level. This is his first time unlocking a new form after all too, but it's a good stepping stone, and they're glad to see him powered up now. Although he's not too happy to see Cooler. Cooler really hates how he's being judged by everybody. He tells him just focus on that evil dude. And Granolah says not only is he stronger, but he knows exactly how to defeat Turles now. He tried to do this before, but didn't have the power or speed to do so. He tells the other to hold Turles off for him, and they do exactly that. Cooler tries to restrain him again, while Kakarot and Raditz, they try and use their powers to hold him in place, binding him with their ki. Turles desperately tries to break free as Granolah charges up. Granolah then vanishes, appearing right in front of Turles, striking him right in a vital point. The power of this does two things. One, it breaks dimensions again, hopefully it sends them back home. And two, the strike removes Broly from Turles, freeing him from the absorption. As the four of them are all sucked into the portal, Kakarot looks back at Cooler and laughs, thanking him for helping in the fight. Wondering if he'll ever see that Cooler again. The portal closes and Cooler's left there just dumbfounded. He never even realized that was possible, but he powers down and smiles. Good luck, Goku, Kakarot, whoever he is. And now we follow the four fighters back to where they came from. They're back in their main dimension actually. Beerus and Whis are still standing there, and Beerus' jaw drops. They're back! He can't believe it! And Kakarot looks over, asking if that's really them, and Beerus says they're in the right place. What the hell happened? And is Granolah in a new form? He watches as Granolah and Raditz hold off Turles, with Broly floating there unconscious. Well, they'll explain later, but he asks Beerus and Whis, get that Broly guy out of here. He's gonna die in the vacuum of space. Kakarot has something in mind for him later. Turles is fuming. He's losing now. He doesn't have Broly's power anymore. He can't regenerate himself as efficiently as he thought, and these three fighters are overwhelming him. One even grew stronger. His rage is fueling him. His ki burns even more intense than before. An aura swirls around his fist as he charges a powerful attack. He could still win here. He knows it. First, that's Cerealia. He tries with all his might to liquefy himself again, surprisingly able to stretch an arm out, wrapping it around Raditz and flinging her away. And as ki charges up in the other fist, he launches towards Granolah, hitting him square in the face, transferring all the energy through that punch, knocking him completely unconscious. And Granolah is sent barreling into a nearby planet. And as Kakarot rushes back over, Turles starts facing Raditz. He tries again to stretch his arm out, trying to wrap it around Raditz. Maybe he could absorb him, but as Kakarot flies in, he launches a blast to slice Turles' arm off, freeing Raditz from that, and Turles desperately tries to regenerate the arm, while he tries to fend off the two brothers with one arm. And it ends up working. His arm regenerates, and he does so in a way so it launches towards Raditz, regenerating as he lunges it forward to punch him square in the face too. Raditz is bloodied and beaten, but he's not going to give it up. Everyone's running out of energy, and it took a lot out of Raditz trying to break dimensions on his own, fighting with that ultra ego version of himself. It was worth it because it got him back here, but at the same time, he was a little bit injured from it, and worn out, and that gives Turles an opening to knock Raditz out too, as he plunges towards the planet below. But Kakarot's able to land a blow on Turles, with Turles striking at the same time. The clash of the two knocks each of them back, as they weakly rush towards each other once more. Kakarot delivers a punch, and Turles tries to catch it, wrestling with him, with Turles then delivering a powerful gut punch. He got Kakarot good, but Kakarot then knees him in the stomach, and Kakarot wraps his arms around Turles, barreling down towards that nearby planet where Granolah and Raditz were. He flings Turles down to the ground, generating a massive crater. Kakarot levitates there, breathing heavily, and he rockets downwards once more. Turles tries to stand up in the crater, defending against Kakarot as he barrels down towards him. The two are now brawling. No ki blast, just a melee battle. Turles even de-transforms, going into his normal evil Saiyan form. Kakarot de-transforms. He's gone with this too, and Turles chuckles. This brings him back. The two have a fist fight, beating each other down even more and more. Both can barely stand, bloodied and beaten. Turles coughs up blood, trying to prop himself up again. He weakly smiles and chuckles. Kakarot drops into his base form. Turles does too. Turles tells them, it's time they finish this. Kakarot smiles, and the two weakly run towards each other, cocking their fists back, ready to attack each other. But at the very last moment, Kakarot feels a burst of energy. His hair grows out once more, that evil Saiyan aura reappears. And Turles sees, not too far away behind Kakarot, there's a bloodied and beaten Raditz standing up, who just launched a ball of his energy towards Kakarot, lending his brother the last of his power. Raditz wishes Kakarot good luck as he falls to the ground. Unconscious once more, Kakarot lands the final strike, an uppercut right to Turles' gut, and with the last of his power, he launches a ki blast through it too, tearing a hole through Turles. Turles' eyes widen. He looks down, shaking as he falls to the ground, but also weakly smiling once more. Kakarot powers down again, and the two collapse to the ground. Kakarot weakly tries to prop himself up, crawling over to where Turles is. Turles is desperately trying to regenerate himself, but he can't. He's too weakened. He has no control over the regeneration to do so either. But Turles looks over at Kakarot. After this long, they finally did it. They finally had an all-out battle, and they finally settled the score. He tells Kakarot, surprisingly, he's actually pretty proud of him. A low-class warrior, coming this far. Turles hates to admit it, but Kakarot sought out power purely through effort after they parted ways, and still managed to grow powerful without the same shortcuts that Turles took. The Crusher duo could have been so strong if they stuck together, but each of them chose this path. Turles made his own bed, and he'll lie in it. Kakarot lifts himself up, standing but barely able to keep himself upright, as he looks down at Turles. He doesn't even know what to say here, but Turles tells Kakarot he accepts his fate. This is a warrior's death. He went out doing what he loved, fighting an opponent that was made to battle him like this. They were destined to meet, destined to have this battle, and this outcome was destined. And Kakarot watches as Turles struggles to regenerate that area that was blown out of him. Turles tells Kakarot he's truly changed. He resents it, but he says they're both prime examples of the Saiyan race regardless. With a smile on his face, Turles tells Kakarot well done, telling him to carry that pride with him. And slowly, his eyes shut, and Turles dies with that same smile on his face. Kakarot looks down, feeling conflicted about the whole thing. They did it. They finally won. He can't even believe it. He falls backwards sitting down, and he just sits there, next to Turles' lifeless body. He hears nothing but wind. There's dead silence, but he hears the ground crunching nearby. Raditz, barely able to stand, is walking over, and his eyes widen. He did it! Kakarot tells Raditz, it's weird. After this encounter with Turles, it makes him reminisce. It's not like he regrets not being in the Crusher duo. It just makes him realize all the alliances he started and lost. He's glad to have held on to this one with Raditz at least, and glad to be here with him, but at the same time, it makes Kakarot realize what little he has left. They were working towards this goal of power, and this goal of defeating Turles. But what now? Where do they go from here? Someone else walks over. It's Granolah. And he smiles. He's glad to have found them, and even happier to see that Turles is defeated. Beerus and Whis land nearby, with an unconscious Broly, and Beerus immediately starts berating them. They're lucky they didn't destroy anything. But at the same time, he congratulates them. Well done. That was actually a pretty fun fight to watch. But Granolah and Raditz are surprised that Broly's still there, and Kakarot says there was no point in killing him. It's like he said before. And who knows, maybe he could be another rival, a successor to Turles, but someone who isn't like Turles. They don't know yet. It might be risky, but Kakarot thinks it'll be worth it. They prepare to leave, and Kakarot looks over at Turles one last time. He has a smile. He died doing what he liked, even if it was obviously bad. He had a purpose in life, and he fulfilled it. And Kakarot laments. What are his goals now? Will he be able to find that same sort of solace that Turles found? And as they leave, Raditz looks to Beerus and asks about that power that he saw. Apparently another version of him had purple hair with some form called Ultra Ego. He's never heard of the name, but it sounded like a destroyer's power. Yeah, and then Granolah mentions too, an ultimate version of him had Ultra Instinct. Okay, that name Beerus actually does know of. But he had Ultra Instinct? Granolah? And Kakarot did too? Beerus gulps. He didn't realize Granolah had that in him. Same for Kakarot. Not to mention Raditz apparently having his own power? The power of a destroyer? Interesting. He'll definitely keep that in mind. And now everybody actually does have new goals. Broly ends up on Beerus' planet too. He's hostile at first, but they could tell. He's a strong Saiyan, and it would be a waste to just kill him like that. And he was obviously only with Turles because he didn't really have another choice. But Kakarot really wants to see what he's made of. A fellow Saiyan like that. Someone who even Beerus is interested in due to his power. But now everyone's in a new chapter of their lives. Granolah wants to aim for that Ultra Instinct thing. Raditz wants Ultra Ego. Broly wants to, well, just fit in here in general. And as for Kakarot, he surprisingly leaves Beerus' planet for a bit, going to Earth to seek answers. He knows exactly who to talk to. His old friend, Tenshinhan. The Crane School guided him to where he was, and he found his own answers. So maybe, if Kakarot consults him, he'll find something for himself. Look at him. He has friends. He's respected. He's found a purpose in life, and he feels content with himself ideologically. Kakarot can't really say he has any of those, besides the friends part. And when he arrives to Earth, Ten's glad to see him again, but he's wearing a completely new outfit, similar to the one that Krillin and Yamcha had. It's orange. While Kakarot was gone, they started a new martial arts school, the Neo-Turtle School, led by him, with Roshi providing guidance. And Krillin, Chaozu, and Yamcha also being teachers too. Those other humans come over as well, wondering why Kakarot's back, and he tells them everything, and they can barely wrap their minds around it. Kakarot remembers back to when he was in the Crane School. It was a bad influence on him, but he still felt like he belonged there. He had a purpose. Training with gods is great, but maybe he'll belong here, just like he did before. His past conquests are over. His search for power can continue, but he really got it to defeat Turles, so where does he go for now? Seeking that power would still be fun, but maybe he needs to seek something else. Those other two Kakarots he saw through those other dimensions, they seemed content somehow. Granted, he only saw them for a few seconds, but still. And Ten smiles hearing this, welcoming Kakarot back. He knows exactly how to help. It's kinda overwhelming though, a godly being like him being here on Earth. But here on Earth, there's more to training than just raw strength, and Ten's excited. Kakarot no longer is gonna go down that bad path that he saw as a kid. He's clearly going down a better path now. He's definitely changed. Sure, he still is the same crass, battle-crazy Saiyan that he was before, but more nuanced. Earth really did mold him in a way, and Ten says he should join the Neo-Turtle School. It really could help. And you know what? Kakarot thinks that actually might be a good idea. He did plan on staying here for a bit, but he didn't even realize this is how much everything's changed. Ten might actually be his master now. But first, he's gonna need a new outfit. Those Crane School clothes are outdated, and Kakarot's definitely not gonna wear Saiyan armor anytime soon. Kakarot takes some time to change, and walks out in a new outfit. Krillin compliments him, saying the outfit suits him. It's almost like it was made for him in a way, and Ten agrees. He could barely recognize Kakarot, but at the same time, he feels like this is how he should see Kakarot. And Kakarot looks at himself in a mirror nearby. He smiles. He feels comforted for once. He barely recognizes himself, but for some reason, this looks right, and he's more than ready for whatever life brings him next. And here, we end the story. What did you guys think about this part and the story as a whole? I know it's been a long one and a crazy one, so thank you for sticking through it with me. If you like this video, be sure to drop a like and subscribe, especially if you want to see more like this. Anyways, thanks for watching, thanks for supporting the scenario, and I'll see you all in my next video.